Good afternoon and welcome to day 11 of the 29 days love challenge. I'm sure by now everyone, well, I'm not going to say everyone, but a lot of people are in church right now in service and it's 12 noon and it's a Sunday. So those folks are in church. A lot of people of faith is in church. Churches are open up everywhere, and they're doing God's business this morning. Some of the things that we do in church is number one, something I try to emulate every single day, which is number one. Number one, when I wake up in the morning, I like to give God praise for who he is. I like to be thankful. I like to worship him because he's God. And everything that you see and everything around you, right, is made by him. Right. And also um he downloads ideas or he's created in us uh you know this creativity, imagination. So we're capable of coming up with uh movies, writing books, with medicines, I mean inventing architecture, building buildings and building houses. And yeah, that's God putting his creative ability inside of us and allowing us to grow and manifest in this world. So that's why I know that doing this love challenge is very powerful, becoming very, very powerful and very inspirational to me personally. Is causing me to become more sensitive and more aware of my surroundings. It's causing me to be more sensitive on things I think and things I say, and I become more sensitive uh that when I'm around people, how people are feeling, if they have some needs, and you know what, it shifts an energy inside of you. um People like my wife and I were talking yesterday, and of course she's in church right now, but we were talking yesterday. We were talking about uh the importance of your frequency and your vibration, but we were also talking about the importance of light. So when you walk into a place, people, number one, they see you, but do they see light? you know and when they see you, do they sense or get a feeling that that person is a good person, or that's a person that I can I can say hello to, or that's a person that I don't have to be ashamed around. Because off of you, right, comes light, frequency, and vibration. It comes off you. That's why I believe that when sometimes I become very sensitive, right? When I walk into a place and it's kind of dim, and I walk into a place, all of a sudden, right, there's a sense of light that comes on. I mean, a sense of a good feeling that comes on. I remember one time walking into Subways, and they right here in Mount Vernon, and they had just built a brand new all you can eat restaurant, diagonally right down the corridor from the Subways. So everybody used to say, oh, it wasn't really anything there. And so everybody used to go to Subways. If you go in that, because it used to be a CVS and then it became a restaurant, and then there was Subways and Dunkin' Donuts. And so uh you know so I'm saying, like, okay. And he was talking about how business was some businesses so, so forth and so on. But something happens when good people walk in. I walked in, he was complaining, and I was the only person in there. And I believe, like, because I'm in there, right? Because the light is in there, because there's a different frequency in there. People started to come in. I turned around and there was one person, 5 person, 10 person, 15 people. Next thing you know, it was out the door. That's because there's a frequency on you. There's a frequency and vibration that draws, accelerates, and draws people to you. Right. And it's crazy, but that's what's on us. And sometimes we don't realize it, because the scripture says we are the light of the world and the salt of the earth. Right. Nobody takes the light and put it under a bushel or hides that light. Right. You let your light shine, but there's got to be a balance. Right. Hey, for all you guys who, love salt, you love salt in your food. Nobody pours the whole box of salt on it. You season it so that your food can be tasty. Right. And so when you want to give salt to people, you just don't dump it on them, man. You need to get saved. You need to get your life together, man. You going to hell, all that kind of stuff like that. No, you come with people with love. You come and you say hello to people. How are you doing today? Right? You season it. You season like salt. You season it so what you saying begins to sound good, right? And here's the other part. If somebody's in the darkness and they need light, right? You can't turn on your bright lights. You will blind them. They couldn't see in the first place. But if you turn your bright lights on, right? If you start telling them, man, they ain't no good, and if you don't have God, and all that kind of stuff like that, man, you shining too much light, right? You got to give them just enough light so they can see. I like that. Just enough light so they can see their way. And as they start, you give them a little bit more light and a little bit more light and a little bit more light so they can see. Right? So they can see. Challenge! Yeah. Yeah. This is 29 days of love challenge. Right. And I was talking to a friend of mine. Not gonna mention his name, right? But I was talking to him this morning, looking around. I guess everybody's in church. I was trying to get somebody to pop on with me and talk about love. So it's just going to be me talking about love right now. So, I tried to get him to pop on and he was like, hey, man, you doing what? Yeah, I said, I'm doing this 29-day love challenge. And we're in day 11, the 11th day of it. And he said, love. That's he said love. And I think in his mind, right? I think in his mind, he was thinking like, I don't see no love. People yelling at each other, political fights. I mean, uh, you know, he's like, I can sense it in his spirit, the tone of his voice, the sound, the frequency that he was like, uh, you know, I don't I don't know about the love thing, man. Like that. And but the more he said, well, what is it about? I said, well, it takes 21 days to change a habit. We're taking 29 days of love, right? We want to change a frequency, we want to change a vibration, right? Because we believe that love is more powerful. Love is more powerful than anything. And so the more I talked to him about it, the more I shared with him about love, he started talking about the love that was shown to him, right? And the more he talked about the love that was shown to him, right? And then when he talked about an experience he had with God, right? And all of a sudden, the atmosphere, the frequency change. And he said, man, you know what? That's a good idea. He said, I was just thinking about like myself and what's going on, that there is no remnant. And I realized, yeah, love is a powerful remnant, right? And when you manifest it, when you use it. So that's why I'm saying today, man, in this 29-day challenge, couple of things. You have to talk about love if you want to manifest it, right? If you don't, and so love manifests itself in many ways by just sometimes we live in a world that nobody says hello to each other. Nobody asks anybody how they're doing. Just asking somebody how they're doing, just saying hello to somebody. I used to tell people at the Boys and Girls Club, I need your resource because to cut the lights, the heat, electricity, insurance, all the things that it would take to run an organization. Yeah, we needed resources, right? But you know what else we needed besides your treasure? We needed your time, right? And most of the young people that when you come in, when young people are in the organization, in the Boys and Girls Club, when good people come in and they say, how was your day to a young person? And you play a game of pool or shoot around in the gym a little bit of basketball or go out to the park or playground, right? And there's some little kid out there playing and you grab a ball and started playing with them, right? And you could make their day, right? So it's time, talent, use your time, use your talent, and use your treasure to be a blessing. It's not just all about your treasure, it's about the gift that God has given you to be able to help somebody, right? And your time is valuable, right? And when you take time out of your busy schedule, you stop and pause for a moment and go and help somebody. You take your time, your valuable time, and you go to help somebody, you know, oh man, how powerful is that? That you take your time and your talent and your treasure to be a blessing to somebody else. I mean, I don't know. I'm not trying to preach, but on my shirt, there's some pictures on my shirt. Of course, I was just at West Virginia University, right? I'm going to show you, just a little cut. We was at West Virginia the other day, last weekend, and we had a great time there at West Virginia. If we haven't taken that off, well, I guess we did take that picture off. But we had a great time in West Virginia. But here, these pictures, there's me. I'm on the other side. I'm over here. There's me, and there's my buddy, my former teammate, Joe Frizz. And Joe passed away a few years ago from ALS, right? This guy, tremendous athlete, jumping all over the gym, tremendous person, right? And he passed away. Um, Joe did a kind act. Well, he did a lot of kind act, but for me, Joe lived in Pittsburgh. My youngest son Isaiah, went to school at Edinburgh College, right in Edinburgh, Pennsylvania, and which was like maybe an hour and a half from Pittsburgh. And Joe lived in Pittsburgh, and he would drive up because he knew that it was the first time my son Isaiah is disabled, and he was playing on the wheelchair basketball team, right? And he knew that we were in New York, and he was in Pennsylvania, and so he would drive up. Sometimes him and his wife would drive up and take Isaiah to lunch, right? If I had Isaiah fly into Pittsburgh and he needed to get to Edinburgh, he would pick Isaiah up from the airport and drive him to his school. I mean, you talk about acts of kindness. The other one, just thinking one day I'm just going to drive up and take Isaiah out to lunch, is a random act of kindness that he would just not me call him and say, hey, why don't you go take Isaiah out to lunch? No, he just went, called him up, and went and took Isaiah out to lunch, right? And then we couldn't get to the games, right? And then he would go see Isaiah play, right? And then my kids called Joe Frizz, used to call Joe Uncle Joe, you know, just, you know, Losey was in Pittsburgh. Joe, he went to see Joe, right? He had met Joe, but just a beautiful person, man. You don't know what your act of kindness could do for somebody, right? And it, this sparked in me because of Joyce Myers a few years ago. This is my book of the month, The Love Revolution. How that love can transform man, society, culture, right? Just powerful, man. Just a powerful situation. And then when you look at love, break this thing down. When you look at love, right? The fruit of the spirit is love. The attributes of love is joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control, and there is no law for it. There is no law for love, man, because love is here you go in 1 Corinthians 13. Love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it is not rude, it is not easily angered, right? It keeps no record of wrong. It does not delight in evil. It rejoices in truth. It always protects. It always trusts. It always hopes. And it always perseveres. Love, love never fails. So I truly thank you guys, those who have popped on, even though church services are going on. And this is one of the scriptures from yesterday. It says, do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. And good is a fruit of the spirit. That's Romans 12:21. And man, I'm loving this, man. So the more we do it, something I want to bring up before I show this video real quick. I want to show you this video, but something I wrote down last night. I said, I was talking about, and I wrote this last night. So my friend I called this morning, right? He didn't know, I didn't know what he was going to say, and he didn't know what I wrote down. But when I called him and spoke about this love challenge, and I said to you guys earlier that his mindset about love, right? That's because right now, and the reason why we're doing this challenge, because most of us think from the premise of the negative. We think about all the stuff that's going wrong, feels wrong, right? We think from that premise, right? That we can't, our mindset, our paradigm is so set on negative things, or we can't even see love, man. We can't even see the fruit of love, right? We can't see it, right? Because our mindset, right? Our paradigm, right? Our habits and behaviors are on the frequency of that ain't nothing good. Ain't nothing good happening. Nothing can solve this situation. Here's another example. People used to ask me when I was at the Boys and Girls Club, I said, you want to change the situation? Because most of the time you see negative things, particularly about the Black culture, comes on television, right? Everything that robbing, stealing, just doing bad things, right? But I should tell people, like, man, there are more people doing good than people are doing bad. We take 5% of young people that are negative, right? And we promote that 95% of it when you see on TV is all negative. So when people look at our kids, they look at our kids from a negative mindset, right? When the reality of it is that 95% of the kids are doing good, right? They're being good and they're being kind, but we promote the 5% that are doing negative. right? I mean, we market the 5% because 5% is what sells. You know, when you go to the news, man, you get 5% of things that are good. Like I love going watching the news, and they do this special segment on the acts of kindness, right? Well, I don't see that every day. I only see that every now and then, but every day I see negative. Every day I wake up, the weather's bad. This one got shot. This was a drive-by. This on fire. That's all we see. We see 5% of the things that is going on that's negative and get 95% of the attention, right? And that's not fair. And that's what we're here to do with the Love Challenge. We trying to expose the 95% that are doing good. There are kids that are graduating from school, on time to school. Yes, sir. No, sir. Manners, right? They're going to classes. They're playing the violin. They're acting and playing sports and, playing chess. 95% of our kids are doing, our world is probably doing well, but all we see in the news is the negative, that 5% that's doing bad, right? We need to change that paradigm. That's what this love challenge is all about. Changing the paradigm where we spend more time in the 95% of love and the 5% of hate. Man, I'm sorry about that. I got on my soapbox, but I'm sorry. It's okay, but I'm going to show this video clip, right? Because I only got a few more minutes here. I'm going to show this video clip, and you can put in the chat, like if somebody's done an act of kindness for you, or you've done an act of kindness for somebody, you can put it in the chat, right? If I love to hear your opinions on whether love can or cannot change the situations that we're in right now. I love to hear from you, right? I love for you to share this, share it, with your friends and family, right? Yeah, we're gonna do this thing, but check this out right here.
Thank you for choosing Chick-fil-A. This is Hannah. How may I serve you?
It can be a routine. Car after car.
$22.84 at the window.
Order after order. But on Monday night, one customer's request put a screech on all operations.
Everyone was like totally stunned.
A man drove up to Chick-fil-A and ordered his food. Sounds normal, right?
Yes,
That is until he had to pay.
Here's 10 $100 bills. I'd like to pay for everybody else in the line. And for the next 1 hour, he bought everybody's meal.
This random yet generous act would help serve 88 people. Team leader Dusty Wolf was there, and understandably, she was shocked.
I was like, did you win the lottery today? Like, why are you doing this? He's like, well, Mondays are tough. I just want to make everyone have a good day. Like, I just want to help them have a good day.
It was still a jackpot for the many customers behind him. Paying it forward is common, but $1,000, well, that has people rubbing their heads.
Like, some of them thought it was a joke. Like, they can't even take their food. They're just like, what?
Or cheering with joy.
Kids last night in the back just going, yeah!
If anything, customers weren't prepared to order their food with a side of random kindness.
The 8 or the 12 piece, sir.
We had a lady who had, just an awful day. She received it. We told her what was going on and just started crying in the drive-thru.
The man, who we only know as John, may have done an anonymous gesture, but the impact ripples far beyond 88 people.
We need to think about other people, not just ourselves, and that putting a little bit of joy in someone's life unexpectedly is a real blessing.
And if there's one thing to sum up how people view this mystery man, it's this.
You're the man.
Hannah, how may I serve you?
Wow. Powerful. Now think about this. 88 people. Think about the 88 people he impacted, right? By purchasing their meal. Think about the impact he had on the staff at Chick-fil-A. But, the staff at Chick-fil-A should know this already because, they're a faith-based organization, right? And so they're training, around being kind, showing love. It is every day. They don't open on Sunday, just 6 days a week. But think about the 88 people leaving there, going home and telling their family that there was a man who bought our lunch, our breakfast, our dinner, whatever it was, right? And think about them going to work tomorrow and sharing Man, this guy paid for 88 people to have lunch. Think about the ripple effect. The power of it goes far beyond the $1,000 that he spent to be a blessing to somebody. I mean, it's just love is just powerful, right? And check this out before I get off here, right? Because I'm on my soapbox. Check this out. The other day, I went to a basketball game. Of course, my daughter and son-in-law coach for Stony Brook University. So we got there early and we went to Chick-fil-A, right? So we go into Chick-fil-A. The guy takes our order, right? And he takes our order, is asked anything I can help with. And then we sat down to eat and he came back. He said, look, can I refill your drink? And man, even till we left, this young man just loved on us. I mean, he just loved on us. Even when I was going out the door, he asked my mother, could I add to your refill? Is there anything I get you before you go? And I was so messed up over it that I asked him, hey man, can I give you a tip? And he said, no, we can't do that. So he wasn't being kind because he was going to get a tip. He was just being kind, right? That's powerful. He was just being kind. This love challenge is so powerful, right? Man, and just imagine everybody who's in church right now, all the churches all over the world, right? Or especially in the United States of America that have gotten up, particularly on the Northeast, have gotten up and gone to church and came out of church and did one act of kindness every day, we would change the world. Oh man, God bless you guys, man. I love you guys, man. And here's my final two videos. I will not be coming back. My everyday video on kindness, and then the outro. Love you guys. See you tomorrow, 12 o'clock. Right? I look forward to seeing you. God bless you.
A.D. Williams once said, imagine what 7 billion humans could accomplish if we loved and respected one another. Just imagine. Imagine if there was no greed. Imagine if there was no comparison. If everyone was running their own race, but cheering for all others at the same time. Maybe we'll never see that in our lifetime. But what we all can do is start with ourselves. Start with yourself. Choose to lift others up. Choose to set the example of kindness and integrity, the example of compassion and understanding. There's a quote that says, no matter how educated, talented, rich, or cool you believe you are, how you treat people ultimately tells all. Integrity is everything. It really is. Who you are is far more important than what you have, and it will always be. Who you are is measured by how you make others feel. Be kind to each other. In a world where you can be anything, be kind. Choose to be the change you wish to see in the world. Decide you will not wait for someone else. You will set the example. Be kind. Because you never know how much that person is suffering inside. You never know the difference your words can make, the difference your presence can make, the difference you can make to one human life. Be the reason someone believes in the goodness of humanity. Be the reason someone else decides to make a difference in others. Be the influence you want to see more of. Always do what is right, not what is easy in the moment. Kindness spreads like a virus. When you do good to another, that person does better to those they come in contact with. You really can make a big difference in the world today and every other day. Anne Frank said, in the long run, the sharpest weapon of all is a kind and gentle spirit. No one has ever made themselves great by showing how small another is. Be kind and always build others up to the best of your ability. Treat everyone with the same level of kindness that you would like for yourself. Not because everyone is nice, but because you are. Because karma makes no mistakes. Because it is right. Because you have integrity. Because you want this world to be better when you leave than when you arrive.